This is day 242, Wandering Around. I think I've perfected the art of wandering around. There are times when the structure of life, repetitive nature of tasks, and the constant pressure of performance starts to wear me down. The best way I know to overcome this is to go backpacking in the wild with no internet access, sleeping on the ground, and worrying only about cooking meals has a way of yanking me out of the deep state coma that oftentimes the regular pace of life can pull me into. Unfortunately, I have not figured out a way to afford my lifestyle by backpacking yet, so I'm only really able to do that once a year. I've always searched for a way to replace that feeling with something I can do more frequently. The closest feeling I get to being out in the wilderness on a long distance hike is wandering around. When I was preparing for a long distance race, I had to put a lot of miles in every day. At first, mapping courses to run was a little bit stressful to me. Eventually, I just got into the habit of running straight out my door and heading in random directions. When I got to my expected time or distance, I would turn around and retrace my steps back to my starting location. The round trip would end up being the exact mileage and distance that I wanted to achieve that day. There were days when I was okay with just going around the neighborhood, but other days I would find new neighborhoods, new trails, new bike paths, and other places to run through or around. This eventually became what I called my wandering time. I can do this walking or running, it does not matter. Lately, I've been walking more because of an injury that I'm still trying to get over. As I've done this, I've noticed something start to happen. My mind wanders for a while, going from thought to thought, idea to idea, until eventually I exhaust all open worries. Then I start focusing on an area that my mind seems to want to gravitate toward. I do not try to change this at all. Wandering time is free time. I do not need to be worried about doing it right or anything like that. I walk or run and let my mind select its own path. I will dwell on a particular topic for a while and sometimes expand on that for a long time. Other times, I will not focus on really much of anything. My mind will hover over a few ideas, then quickly switch to something new. Wandering has become a form of meditation. This wandering time has also started to transcend just clearing the mind. It also has become a form of deep prayer as I search through my life's actions and intent, trying to sort out if I'm in alignment with my core beliefs and values. I can find myself being critical of myself, and other times I can find myself rather pleased with my progress. I try not to judge myself or condemn my actions. I allow my soul to float through the issues and concerns of the day. And if something flares up that is a cause for concern, I do not berate myself for negativity. I allow the concerns to bounce around, and then slowly I start to find some rationality and perhaps even a little forgiveness. During this wander around sessions, I remember things that I was supposed to do or say. I also remember what I might have neglected or where I might have caused harm. On more than one occasion, I've had to stop, find a wall or rock to sit on, and make a phone call, usually to apologize. Other times, I found myself coming to some conclusion that required some deliberate actions to resolve. In those cases, I come back from wandering around with a clear plan to seek restitution or resolution where necessary. However, it is important to not have an exact agenda. I just let this happen when it happens. Forcing your mind to go anywhere while wandering makes the activity not wandering at all. Wandering should not be stressful and should not have an agenda. If you are tired, slow down or even you can slow down or even stop. If you need to sit down for a while, do so. If you want to stop and smell the flowers, well then you can do that. If you run into somebody that wants to talk, then talk. If you see an active beehive, stop and watch it for a while. If you see a path you have not taken before, take it. I once spent 30 minutes watching a coyote watching me back. It had no purpose. It was just intriguing. I got the distinct feeling that the coyote was doing what I was doing, just a wandering around. Rarely during the course of a normal hectic life do we get to take a break. When we do get time to ourselves, we are playing with our phones or scrolling on social media or streaming a show. We use our excess time and to do chores or fill it with entertainment. All of this has been designed, all of these things are designed to grab our focus and captivate our attention. Our minds are not free. When wandering, the mind and soul are free. I'm only bound by what's going outside in my city, my neighborhood, and my surrounding hills. I suggest wandering as much as you can. Just go out of the door and bounce around and go where you feel your feet will take you. Having said all this, I will leave you with a song I sometimes sing to myself as I go wandering. A song that was born of wayfaring, traveling, working Americans in the early 20th century. The song is titled Wandering, probably by a guy named Carl Sandburg, but nobody really knows. I've been wandering early and late from New York City to the Golden Gate, and it looks like I'm never going to cease my wandering. My daddy's an engineer, my brother drives a hack, my sister takes in washing, and the baby follows the jack. And it looks like I'm never going to cease my wandering. Been a working in the city, been working on the farm. All I've got to show for it is the muscle in my arm. And it looks like I'm never going to cease my wandering. Snakes in the ocean, eels in the sea. A red-headed woman has made a fool out of me, and it looks like I'm never going to cease my wandering. I've been wandering far and wide. I come with the wind and I drift with the tide, and it looks like I'm never going to cease my wandering.